Before starting, if you haven't seen the first part, click the link in my description to watch it first and then watch this part. As the players are being put into boxes, one of them attacks a guard but is saved by another guard. The guards take off their masks and say they are having fun with this. On the other hand, the players are returning to their room and Nam-gyu realizes he has lost his cross with the pills. Just then, Geum-ja and Jun-hee arrive with the baby, and everyone is surprised to see them. The guards arrive and announce the new winnings, which are 43.1 billion won, and only 25 players remain. The voting is held again, and surprisingly, Nam-gyu votes against playing. Geum-ja begs everyone to vote against it, but still the blue team wins with double the votes. Nayeon and Gyeon-seok are returning, and Nayeon tells him to do as she says. Meanwhile, the VIPs have arrived, and it's revealed the guards in the beginning were actually the VIPs who were just messing around. Just then, the masked officer gets a call from the others involved in the operation room. He tells them to investigate the area. They go to the operation room and scan the identities of all the people who died, and they find out that Nayeon and Gyeon-seok are behind all this. Meanwhile, Jun-ho gets a call from Woo-seok, who tells him that nobody in the area knows about Captain Park and Captain Ko, but Jun-ho still ignores this. Just then, Jun-ho goes to another island, although Captain Park stops him, and that's when he realizes it's the same island where he was shot. But he returns back thinking about coming later with the whole team. The masked officer calls Nayeon to him, and she threatens to kill him if he doesn't arrange a boat for her and Gyeong-seok to leave this place, and he complies, giving her the boat key later. In the players' room, it's night and Geum-ja tells Gi-hun about what she had to do earlier and asks him to save Jun-hee and the baby at any cost. Meanwhile, Woo-seok arrives outside Captain Park's house and breaks in to search for evidence. He takes out a guard dog. Just then, he finds a guard's mask and a lot of money and has the proof to expose Captain Park. But just then, the police arrive after hearing the gunshot and arrest him. The next day, when the players wake up, guards arrive with a box, and we are shown that Geum-ja, tired of her life, committed the unthinkable. Just then, the players are gathered for the fifth game, and Gi-hun takes the baby from Jun-hee, promising to keep it safe. They arrive at the arena and find two giant dolls holding a rope. The game they are playing is jump rope, and they have to cross the railway and reach the other side by dodging the rope within 20 minutes. The order in which they cross is up to them. Just then, the timer starts, and the rope starts moving, but it's really fast and the players get nervous. Watching all this from afar are the VIPs who propose an idea to the frontman to include the baby in the game. As Jun-hee is leaving the baby on their side, the guards arrive telling her that the baby must cross as well. Nam-gyu finds out that the cross was with Min-soo the whole time and begs him to give it back. But Min-soo throws the cross on the path they have to cross, and Nam-gyu unwillingly starts crossing the path dodging the fast-moving rope. Just as he gets the cross, he slips because of the rope and ends up falling down. The players are now even more scared, but Gi-hun takes the baby and starts crossing to the other side. He gets stuck in the middle as a bit of the path is broken, but ends up taking the jump and reaches the other side, passing the game. Seeing him, the other players start moving as well. The second player to reach the other side starts pushing anyone that comes close to him, eliminating them so that he and Gi-hun could have a greater share of winnings. Because of this, a lot of players are eliminated. But just then, Gi-hun threatens to push him off, and only then does he stop his act. He ends up attacking Gi-hun, trying to push him off, but Gi-hun wins the fight and survives. In the end, only Jun-hee is left to get to the other side, but she realizes that less than 15 seconds are left. She gets hopeless, asks Gi-hun to take care of her daughter, and she too ends up committing the unthinkable. With that, the game comes to an end. Meanwhile, the guards are getting assigned to their areas, and Nayeon and Gyeong-seok are sent to the outside perimeter. The masked officer orders someone to get the team ready. The VIPs, seeing everything, think about what to do with the baby, and the frontman suggests letting the baby take its mother's place and play as a player, and all of them agree on this. On the other hand, the players arrive back, and the guards arrive again, and announce that only 9 of them are left now, with the prize money being 44.7 billion won. The players tell them that only 8 of them are left, but the guard tells them that the baby is in the game too and is competing against them. This enrages the other players, as this is unfair to them. They try attacking Gi-hun, but are stopped by the guards. He announces that they have managed to be in the top 10 and are being given a special gift. In the police station, Woo-seok is trying to explain to the policemen about the deadly game, and that Captain Park is one of them. But they find it hard to believe, as Captain Park has never committed any crime and his record is clean. The policeman ends up calling Captain Park to inform him that Woo-seok broke into his home. Just then, Woo-seok snatches his own phone and calls Jun-ho and tells him everything. Meanwhile, Captain Park, knowing that his truth has come out, gets out his gun and starts shooting, but just then Jun-ho takes him out. The players are dressed in suits, and as their gift, they are being treated to a lavish dinner. The The voting is to take place after it. The VIPs are worried they will decide against playing the games, but the frontman assures them he has a plan for it. The guard arrives and announces it's time for voting, but gives a hint for the next game and reveals the players themselves will have the power to choose who gets eliminated, and at least 3 of the players are to be eliminated. When the voting is held once again, the players decide to play the games. Player 100 gathers the players, and they all decide to eliminate Gi-hun, Min-soo, and the baby, and then get out of this place. Meanwhile, Na-yeon and Gyeong-seok are going away from the island, but the masked officer threatens Na-yeon by revealing the details of Gyeong-seok's family and asks her to bring him back. Na-yeon starts going back to the island, and once they reach back, she gets off the boat and asks Gyeong-seok to leave the island and never try coming back. She starts climbing the island and reaches a shaft leading inside. On the other hand, while everyone is sleeping, a guard approaches Gi-hun and tells him that the frontman wants to see him. Gi-hun is taken to the frontman and sits next to him. The frontman has a proposition for him and says that the others will target him and the baby. He gives him a knife and asks him to take out all of them as they are sleeping, and he can get out with the baby. Gi-hun almost attacks the frontman, but the frontman says that taking him out won't matter as the games will continue, and he will eventually have to face the others tomorrow. So Gi-hun stops. Before Gi-hun leaves, the frontman asks if he still has faith in people, but Gi-hun leaves. When he returns back to the room, he approaches player 100, almost taking him out, but he stops and goes back to his bed. Watching all this is the frontman, who gets a flashback to when he too was invited by the previous frontman and faced the exact same situation. But unlike Gi-hun, he took out everyone else. Na-yeon reaches the masked officer's room and threatens to take him out if he doesn't delete Gyeong-seok's records, which he does. But just then, they engage in a fight. Na-yeon takes him out and sets off for the records room and burns every player's record. Gyeong-seok is trying to reach the mainland, but just then he realizes some guards are following him and shooting. In the end, they manage to shoot the engine of his boat and now he's trapped. Just when he is about to be shot, Jun-ho arrives as he was out looking for the island and takes out the guards, saving Gyeong-seok. Meanwhile, the players are gathered for the final game and taken to an elevator that lifts them to a platform high in the air. It's then revealed that the game they're about to play is Squid Game. The players must play on the square, triangle, and circle towers. Their objective is to push at least one person off a tower and advance to the next platform. Everyone remaining on the last tower will be declared winners. To start a round, they must press a button that begins a 15-minute timer. Watching all this from afar are the VIPs. Player 100 presses the button first, and he and his teammates gather around Gi-hun, attempting to take the baby from him. But they change their minds, knowing Gi-hun won't give the baby up easily. Instead, they vote on who to eliminate and all agree to take out Min-soo. Min-soo has a mental breakdown, and they try to talk him into jumping off himself since they fear he might grab someone and fall with them. Just then, Myung-gi pulls a pole from the center of the platform and ends up pushing Min-soo off himself. The remaining players advance to the next platform. The others then decide to push the button only after separating Gi-hun from the baby to avoid wasting time. This time, they vote in favor of eliminating the baby. They approach Gi-hun, trying to convince him to hand over the baby. One of them even grabs the pole and threatens to push both of them off. But Gi-hun smartly argues that if he falls with the baby, they'll have to sacrifice someone from among themselves. At that moment, one of them presses the button, starting the timer. As they argue about what to do, Myung-gi proposes a plan to separate Gi-hun from the baby by luring him to the center, where he can't push anyone off. They play rock, paper, scissors to choose someone, then tie their jackets together and approach Gi-hun, trying to trick him into coming to the center. But Gi-hun realizes their plan and refuses. One of them suddenly attacks Gi-hun, trying to drag him to the center. Gi-hun, using the knife he got earlier from the frontman, cuts the jackets and threatens to push the attacker off. As the attacker begs for mercy, Myung-gi shouts for Gi-hun to move, then runs forward with the pole and pushes the attacker off the platform, claiming he's on Gi-hun's side. The others argue that Myung-gi was the one who came up with the plan to separate Gi-hun and the baby, but then Myung-gi reveals that he is the baby's father and wants the child to survive. That's why he pushed the other player instead of Gi-hun. Gi-hun recalls seeing Myung-gi and Jun-hee talking privately before and begins to believe his story. Now hopeless, the remaining players, facing both Gi-hun and Myung-gi, who now have weapons, propose drawing lots for the next round. Myung-gi refuses. The others then start beating one of their own, planning to throw him off in the next round so the rest can win. Gi-hun tries to stop them, but suddenly all of them attack Gi-hun and Myung-gi. A brutal fight breaks out. In the end, only Gi-hun, Myung-gi, the baby, and the player who was beaten earlier are left. Myung-gi proposes that they throw the injured man off, and the three of them, Gi-hun, the baby, and Myung-gi, can leave the game as winners. But in a shocking twist, the injured player says he won't be their lunchbox and commits the unthinkable. Meanwhile, Jun-ho is nearing the island, and the frontman is notified. To avoid being seen, Jun-ho jumps off the boat and swims to shore. Back on the platform, Myung-gi advances to the next tower, grabs the pole, and demands that Gi-hun give him the baby and stay behind. That's when Gi-hun realizes Myung-gi wants to sacrifice the baby and win alone. Gi-hun offers to be the eliminated one so the baby can live, but Myung-gi doesn't believe him. Reluctantly, Gi-hun hands the baby over. Just as the path begins disappearing, Gi-hun makes a desperate leap to the next tower and makes it. The two begin fighting, and in the end, both fall off. But in a shocking reveal, Gi-hun is seen holding onto a pipe while Myung-gi clings to his jacket. The jacket tears and Myung-gi falls, getting eliminated. Meanwhile, the frontman receives a live feed from a drone. The Coast Guard is nearing the island. At the same time, Junho has reached the shore. Gi-hun pulls himself back up, starts the round, picks up the baby, and walks to the edge. Nayeon is shown watching everything unfold. In a heart-wrenching twist, Gi-hun sets the baby down and commits the unthinkable, making the baby the sole winner of Squid Game. Seeing the Coast Guard approaching, the frontman orders a full evacuation and activates a timer to blow up the entire island. The VIPs and soldiers board a cruise ship to escape. The frontman goes to retrieve the baby. Junho enters the VIP room, breaks the glass to confront him, but the frontman ignores him and leaves. We're shown a flash montage of all the arenas where players fought for survival, and then the entire island explodes. Junho escapes just in time. The scene cuts to a man walking through a dark hallway. He enters a room where Gi-hun's remaining prize money is kept. And we then jump to 6 months later, at an amusement park where Kyung-seok is sketching a woman, Nayeon, unaware of who she really is. She meets his daughter and wishes them well before leaving. She enters a car while on a call with a broker, who tells her he's finally found her daughter, last seen in China. She immediately boards a plane. Meanwhile, Woo-suk, who served 6 months in jail, is released and picked up by Junho and a friend. It's then revealed that the money in Gi-hun's apartment has disappeared. Junho returns to his apartment and finds the baby lying there with a card on her chest. The card reads, "Player 222 is the winner." Inside, he also finds a credit card. He goes to an ATM, enters the PIN 0222, and sees a balance of 45.6 billion won. Elsewhere in America, a black car pulls up to a house. A man rings the bell, and a girl answers. It's the front man. She assumes he was sent by her father, but he tells her father has passed away and hands her a box. Inside is her father's jacket and a Squid Game card with another credit card, revealing that the front man took all of Gi-hun's money and gave it to his daughter. In the final scene, the front man's car stops at a red light. He glances down an alley, where a girl in a suit is playing dakshi with a poor man. The message is clear: the game's never stopped. And with that, Squid Game ends. Like and subscribe for more recaps like this.